When God has called you into a season of separation, you must be mindful of whom you allow into that season. The devil may use those belonging in the household of faith or blood relatives to interrupt that season. But it is our responsibility to watch over the gates of our season by way of observance of the season and understanding the times. God's children are not expected in any way to play roles of season accelerators. God is known by his name, El Shaddai, meaning all-sufficient one, all-breasted God, all-capable one, fully armored one. As his children, we must not in any way try to help him as accelerators in our life and in the lives of others. Sarah and Abraham had the story to tell when they tried to help God. It brought problems and chaos into their lives. It even delayed the manifestation of God's seasons and times for them. The plan and purposes of God for them was not revealed until they had to change their plans. You see the story between Abraham, Sarah, and Hagar in the book of Genesis chapter 16. Another thing was when God called Abraham out of his father's house. Abraham was called as an old man. He was not called as a youth or a teenager. He had a past. However, he began to hear from God. At a particular point, he began seeking God. And God gave him a directive. Please leave your father's house with what you have. But he came along with his nephew Lot into the place God told him he would show him. Lot brought a lot of chaos. He also brought a lot of problems. Until Abraham was truly separated from Lot, God could not reveal this plan to Abraham. There are people in your life that don't have the capacity to manage your destiny. They don't have the capacity to handle the destiny God has committed into your care. God is asking you to leave them now. Be ye separate. Come out of them. They may be Christians. They are not evil. God is not telling you be enemies with them. He says be separate from them. Stop aligning yourself with them. They are doing you no good. They are standing in the way of my purpose for your life. Separate yourself. There are ties that should be broken, so you should be fully separated unto God. Some friendship may have to be given up. I'll let them go. Orpah left Naomi because that was the end of her season with Naomi in the book of Ruth. Nevertheless, Ruth clave tightly to her, telling her, your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die. Where you are buried, I will be buried there also. She understood. But Naomi never understood that this was a time God was calling for the next person who will be placed in the lineage of Christ. She was weeping and crying, oh, my name is Mara. I went out full and coming back empty. But she did not know they were coming back to restart, to complete the process. Someone was available. Someone was ready to die to self. Someone was ready to be separated unto God. And for that reason, she was introduced as the next ancestor of Christ. David and Jonathan had to be separated. Jonathan did not do David any wrong. Jonathan did not do David anything that was wrong, but David had to be separated from Jonathan. He had to go, let go. It was a painful process. They wept, cried, hugged each other, fell on each other's neck, and separated. And that was the last time David would see Jonathan. David had to be separated from the house of Saul. The next time you will hear David getting associated with the house of Saul was the time he became king, when he ascended the throne and asked, is there any person in the house of Saul that I may show good to for the sake of Jonathan, my friend? No one rejoices in true separation because it's a painful process, especially for those who love you genuinely. But God has called you to separate from them. You are receiving grace today to separate yourself from them. You are receiving grace to carry forth yourself into that season of separation. The rewards of this season of separation are divinely established or reinforce generational patterns and orders and generational blessings. God will not reveal the new order of his ancestry. I'm speaking of Abraham, until he was yielded fully to the earlier instruction to leave his father's house. God is calling you, leave your father's house. Leave your father's house. I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Leave your father's house. What are those things or people you refuse to give up? God is empowering you to let them go. Addictions, you are letting go. Unholy relationships, you are letting go. Bad habits, I see you letting go. Rehab. Experience divine reordering for our generation by choosing to be separated from a self-destructive lifestyle of harlotry. And from Jericho, our original where she came out from, the country of her descent, she was able to place the red scarlet cloth on the window, which served as a token of separation. She was not destroyed. Her family was not destroyed. And because she decided to give up these things, God took her, cleaned her up, and placed her in the lineage of Christ. God loves to use broken things. He's the potter and we are the clay. He's giving us a token for divine separation today. It will not end in tears for you. God is using you to start a new page in your lineage, in your ancestry, in your descent. You are laying a new order, a new foundation. The old patterns and order have to be removed so that the new can come. God bless you.